You want your salespeople to be hungry, but you don't want them to be desperate, because when they start acting out of desperation, they're afraid to do the things that are hard. I've been a salesperson guilty of this. I've been behind on my number and super scared.
The attitude of an owner that's like, well, I don't want to pay my salesperson that much because I could do it.
This is sort of a bad analogy, but like in gambling, they always talk about how you should continue to double it. So like when you win, you get the money back.
Please don't listen to this as gambling advice.
Gambling is from the devil.
Not financial advice. Then do all the sales yourself and don't hire a salesperson operating under a crappy agreement. That's not how you grow and scale a business. And so that's the wrong perspective. Welcome to Entry and Exit. My name is Stephen Olmon, and I also have Collin Trimble with me, who is my co-host of this podcast and also my business partner. We run Alarm Masters in Houston, Texas, and today we're going to talk about why you should pay your salespeople more, and it makes you more profitable when you do that.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Yeah, I think you need to give your salespeople a path to wealth that excites them. And I think that what a lot of people do is they are hesitant to pay salespeople good money because they're afraid that they're going to basically be stuck with them and they're going to be mediocre talent. And so what happens in this industry a lot is you keep a B player around for a long time and they're making okay pay. And instead you should get a person in and have a really good vetting process. And if they seem like the right person, you should pay them a lot of money and you should let them fail fast or succeed quickly. And you should know within 6 months if your salesperson is worth keeping. Almost all of the people we've hired, aside from our sales manager who came from the kind of manufacturing side, so really nobody had any experience in the installation side of security. And we have known in the first 6 months, sometimes as early as 60 days, if a salesperson is the right fit. And all of our salespeople now are fully ramped, building pipeline, doing the things they're supposed to be doing. Not perfect, need to be better. We plan to pay them more dollars. We're going to reward the top performers. Like, I think that you've got to pay your salespeople. And this goes back to being like operations led or sales led. I think a lot of companies in the security industry are operations led, because a lot of the operators were former technicians and former ops guys.
So let's talk about some of the bad habits in terms of what we see. And I would say this is not just true in the security industry. I think this is a lot of sweaty sales.
Yeah.
A lot of commercial sales divisions or sales departments are run this way. So one thing right out the gate to me is the ratio of base to commission is off.
Yeah.
So if you are paying someone, let's say you're in a decent sized market. We're not in like far East Texas or something. You're in a pretty decent sized city and you're paying a sales guy 80, 90K base plus commissions. And if you're thinking in your mind, oh yeah, his OTE, like his total comp, if he does well this year is going to be like 130. Like if your ratio to base to commission is really significant base, you're not going to have a hungry enough salesperson.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be motivated enough.
Yeah.
And maybe depending on how good they are and how large you are and what role they're playing, maybe their base is 80K, but that OTE should be 160.
Yeah, right.
I
agree.
We do a lot of 50-50. So like that ratio's off. There's other bad practices too. Feel free to jump in.
Well, it would be hard for me to justify paying a salesperson anything but 50-50 ever, all the way up to the CRO. I think their comp should be tied to variable. And I think that you really shouldn't go below that. If anything, I would advocate to go slightly more on your base, because you want your salespeople to be hungry, but you don't want them to be desperate, because when they start acting out of desperation, they're afraid to do the things that are hard.
That's true.
And the best sales reps that we have that are performing the best are the ones that are currently at or above their quota, because they're not acting out of desperation and they're following the playbook because they're not behind. And so when you're behind, you make emotional decisions and you don't think things all the way through. And I've been a salesperson guilty of this. I've been behind on my number and super scared and didn't know what to do and just fell back onto bad habits, and it did not help me. And I learned really early
Yeah.
on that you follow the plan always. You ride it through the down and the ups and the downs, and it's sort of like this is sort of a bad analogy, but like in gambling, they always talk about how you should continue to double it. So like if you win or you lose, you can, or if you lose, you double your bet. And then basically what happens is like eventually when you win, you get the money
Please
back.
don't listen. Please don't
Hey,
listen to
what are
this
you
as
one of those
gambling
guys that thinks
advice.
like
This is not
gambling is
not
from the devil?
not not financial
This is
advice. Please
this is
don't
your
hold us accountable for Colin's terrible
this is
takes.
your
Keep going.
pastor's kid coming out right here. Gambling's for the devil. Are you afraid to wear shorts too, or like can we?
I, my calves are beautiful. Anyways, keep going.
Anyway, I think that you should continue to double down, and I think you follow the process no matter what, right? Like I think no matter what you do, you follow your process, and you know that eventually it's going to come back your way. There's a fair amount of luck in sales. So anyway, I just think that I think the 50-50 should be the floor. If you're going to do anything, I really wouldn't go above 60% base, 40% commission. I wouldn't go above
Yeah.
that. But I really wouldn't go below 45, 65. Like you don't really want to go below 45 on the base.
There's other bad habits. There's even things that we have been guilty of or considered that were bad ideas, and then we just see this out in the wild. Other people that have left sales jobs and experiences they had, or even our own. Like I was in sales earlier in my career, so a couple of things that you really shouldn't do that's going to hurt the salesperson in that relationship, and ultimately that's going to trickle down and hurt your bottom line because they're not going to perform like they should. One is capping commissions. Capping commissions is the spawn of Satan.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody would do
Like,
that.
do not cap commissions. I had a friend that like every September, October, he would basically just be brain dead for like the last couple months because he hit his quota and they wouldn't pay him $1 more for any more sales. And so he's like, all right, well, I'm just going to kind of keep some of these leads warm until January 1st, and then I'm going to push on them because I hit my cap and now I can't make another dollar of commission. That is so demotivating. It's terrible incentive alignment. It doesn't make sense for your business either. Like, do not cap commissions. Another thing you can't do, it's going to hurt your relationship. It's going to probably have someone eventually leave your organization that might have been quality, is withholding commissions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you made an agreement, short of like you're going bankrupt type of scenario, but like, do not withhold commissions and don't constantly move the goalposts.
Yeah.
Like if 1 month or 1 quarter it's this, and then you're trying to change it because you realize, oh wow, they're making a lot of money, I don't like that. You're missing it, because good salespeople want to know expectations. They want to have a goal to chase. They want to understand the money they're going to make. And if you constantly are changing it, especially changing it in your favor, Mr. Business Owner, it's not going to serve you or your company well over the course of time.
Yep.
So those are some hot takes. Those are some no-nos in our book that ultimately are just going to kill your bottom line because you're acting short-term instead of long-term.
Yeah. I think that instead of capping commissions, you should do the opposite and pay them more dollars for every dollar they hit above their commission. Because it's going to, and like, it should be aggressive. Like, I think that you should almost pay 2 times your commission rate above quota, because it incentivizes them to pull deals in this year. And in general, deals that are kicked down the road because of the salesperson's timing is generally not going to close. So you make the salesperson look bad customer experience, all of it's bad. You should pay them more dollars, because it's going to make them hungry to want to get to their quota, because they want to get to the double commission, because that's where they start to really unlock dollars. So yeah, you should never cap commission. I don't even know if there's people really doing that anymore. I know that like there is some outliers. Another one is paying your commission dollars too late. We always try to pay all of our commissions at least within 30 days, sometimes within 15 or 20 of the month ending, basically. So you want to get the dollars in the hands of your people pretty quick. Another one that I think this is the big, we've talked about this on the pod all the time, is like, don't pay your people on gross profit. I think that you are going to make them way more involved in estimation than they need to be. You're going to make them way more involved in the project that they need to be. So
Yes.
we implement a clawback scenario, and clawback means if it dips below as a result of, um, if it dips below a gross profit percentage because of a miss by the salesperson, or the customer doesn't pay us. So, for example, we had a customer that paid the deposit. We went through the whole project. They basically went out of business, didn't tell us. Second half of the deposit never got paid. That came right out of the paycheck of the salesperson, and he understood. And it should be written in the comp plan. It should be communicated, and you should also have some leniency, right? Like if it's a very small amount of dollars, it's not worth the administrative headache for you and for them. But you also
Yeah.
should, if it's real dollars, you should not just give it to your favorite salesperson just because you're like, you need to establish like, hey, the clawback's a real thing, and you win and lose with the company, and it makes sense. And like, I'm going to take those dollars out of your commission, not your base, out of your next commission checks. Have some flexibility on the clawback. Like we had a big clawback from a customer that got bought out and didn't even start the project. We prepaid the commission dollars to the rep. 100% of the commission was paid to the rep from when we got the deposit. So the rep was in the money before the company was, and
Yeah.
we paid him. We did the clawback over a couple months, and that worked for us and worked for him. And so
Yeah.
I would also say, you should incentivize your salesperson to get we unless the job is really big, we will pay all of the commission from the day that the deposit is received. Um, I want my salespeople really hungry. I don't want them to have to win the project, work months, 3 months to get a project done, 6 months to wait for the project to end, then to pay them. We have done it where we'll pay them 50% of their commission. If it's a huge
Right.
job, we'll pay them 50% of their commission on the front, 50% of the commission at the end. I think we've only done that one time. So I think you just have to be really careful when you mess with the salesperson's money. Like if they are good, structure is important. You should have a fresh new signed comp plan every single year, reviewed with the salesperson, answer the
Yes. Yes, and
questions.
amen.
Uh, and I think that you need to also, conversely, like this is all about like protecting the salesperson, and you should pay them a lot of money. And I agree with all that. And also, you've got to protect your company. So you've got to have
Yep.
some unusually large commission disclaimers in your commission plan. Like if you have a house lead that comes in, it's a $2 million job, and you give it to the rep and you're working the job the whole time, and it's not single sort. Like you've got to have some ways to compress commission if it's just unusually large. Like just like, hey, this doesn't make sense, this is not the spirit of your agreement. You got to be really careful about that. And it really should be talked about before the deal is awarded. Like you should say, hey, I'm going to
Yeah,
give you
that's
this
true.
lead, I'm probably not going to pay you the full commission if you win it, and do you want it or not?
There's a couple other, like, when you have a salesperson that feels safe, like that they feel like they know what to expect, they feel trusted and equipped, they have a fair comp plan that scales and makes sense. I think that's going to lead to like a higher conversion rate. You're going to have um, probably less discounting. You know, you're also probably going to have a higher average ticket. Like there's going to be positives coming out of having like a really healthy relationship with that salesperson, and that salesperson feeling like they know what to expect and what deal they're operating under. Because salespeople are almost like mini
Yep,
entrepreneurs,
that's right.
like we were both sales guys before we became business owners. And so I think you want to kind of keep that type of DNA in
Yeah,
mind. And so a lot of those things are going to be improved when they've got a really healthy, clear set of parameters to work around within their
yeah,
contract. And then one thing I really despise is the attitude of an owner that's like, well, I don't want to pay my salesperson that much because I could do it.
yeah, that's a dumb.
But
Yeah,
that is not a growth mindset. That is a lifestyle
yep.
business, 5, 6, 800K a year gross revenue type of mentality. And if that's you and that's what you want to do, then do all the sales yourself and don't hire
Yeah,
a salesperson operating under a crappy
yeah,
agreement. But like if you are trying to grow and scale, you have to
yeah.
have multiple different salespeople. You're paying a lot of money to,
Hmm.
likely, if they're succeeding and hitting their quotas or exceeding that. And your attitude shouldn't be like, oh, I could have closed that deal. I could have, gotten 20 grand more out of that deal. Probably if it was me running that deal. That's not how you grow and scale a
Right.
business. And so that's the wrong
Yep.
perspective.
Yeah, the last thing I want to close on is when you're paying your salespeople, you want to make sure that your comp plan is easily understood, is not overly complex, and is easy for them to calculate. I remember working at Salesforce, God bless them, made a ton of money there, but never understood what my comp plan was. Like, and I literally, my boss was like, "Oh man, are you excited for your commission on this deal?" I'm like, "I have no idea what it's gonna be. I don't know. I would
Yeah.
love to know that." So it was always a surprise when I would get paid my comp, and I could do some rough math because I knew like what my on target earnings was for the year, but I never really knew. So you
Mhm.
shouldn't have that. Your salespeople, we have a report our salespeople can go look at live, and they can every deal that they can see and they can understand. And you've got to use compensation to drive performance and attitude. And so, like, if for example we comp all of our sales guys on RMR, RMR is a huge part of our business, and so we comp our salespeople on RMR. And
Yeah.
so you got to
Um,
have that element in
l-
there.
Last thing I'll add before we wrap is you also do need to be realistic and right size the quota, and or if you're growing quota year over year for that same person based on what you're selling and what market you're
Yeah.
in. Like you have to be realistic. And so I think you can also have a really good salesperson for what you're selling and what market you're in. But if you keep trying to bump their quota too aggressively, you might really demotivate them and kind of kill the morale if you're just like, oh, well, I've got to, increase their quota by 30% every year, 50%
Yeah.
every year. Eventually that's going to break. So you've got to be mindful of that.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. Pay your salespeople well, make it easy for them to understand, and communicate really thoroughly with them. Have a lot of structure, and you will have a magic winning compensation plan for your salespeople. What would be winning for me is if you like this content, you would go,
Mm.
you'd click the like button, and you'd leave us a comment and, engage with our stuff. That's always helpful for us. That's how we are measured, is on those little boops that you make on the video. So, anyway, we appreciate it. We hope you have a great week.